Hello and welcome to Trackcast episode 3. My name is Rich Hanson, I'm your host, and I have a special guest with me this week, Rob Gotchall. Rob, you're the manager of players and performance at Ebonite International. Why don't you take a few seconds to explain exactly what that means, what you do for Ebonite International?
Yeah, players and performance, I handle most of our staff from the pro staff all the way down to the regional staff level. And the performance side, I'm involved in the ball development and also, working out on tour as a tour rep and just everything really related to professional bowling and all the way down to our regional and local
ladies
staff
tour,
players.
men's tour, seniors tour, all that. One big role I know is matching up balls with the lane conditions and the right layouts.
Yeah, and especially as the event goes on, the bowling ball becomes more and more a part of, what's going on each week. And, before we can kind of understand what ball works and how to lay it out, we really need to understand the PAP or the positive access point for each professional bowler. And that's kind of where we go on how to lay out their ball for what we're bowling on that week.
Exactly. Every bowler has their own PAP. So before you can put that layout on the bowling ball, it's crucial that you have the exact PAP. So what a perfect topic for episode 3 is how to find a bowler's PAP. I actually have a bowler with me today. His name is Mitch Beasley, recent USBC singles champion. Let's go out in the lane and watch him throw, and I'll show you guys how to find his PAP. Okay, so we just had our bowler throw a bowling ball to get us a flare rings on the bowling ball. But what we're going to do is we're going to trace the flare ring just inside of it that is closest to the finger and thumb. And trace that all the way around the bowling ball. Okay, now that we have that traced completely around, make sure we get nice and thick there. Like I say, just inside that first flare ring that's closest to the fingers and thumb. Now what we can do is we can spin the ball around and we can find actually what the PAP is. Okay, so now you can see we have that first oil ring trace that's closest to the finger and thumb. There's 2 different methods we can use to find what his PAP is. One is to put on a ball spinner and spin it and find it, and the other is to use a tool called an armadillo. Using an armadillo, what we're going to do is you can see there's different rings on here that we match up to the bowler's to his track to find out what his PAP is. So I will line it up. Okay, and I will mark his PAP. So we found the one that matches closest to his track, and then we'll go over to the farthest point over here and mark it, and that'll be our bowler's PAP. So now I'm going to draw a center line between the fingers, the bridge, and the center of the thumb. Okay, now I need to find the average of the span, the 2 fingers. So connect the gripping edge of the 2 fingers. Measure that distance from his thumb, that's 4, so his center of grip is 2. So now I'm going to draw a perpendicular line to his center line. This is going to be called a midline. Okay. Extend that past the PAP down here. You can see. I'm going to connect the 2. This is going to be called his vertical axis line, the VAL. Okay. So now I measure over from his center line to the center of grip to where it intersects with the VAL in his midline. You see that is right at 4 inches. Now I'm going to do a measure up, get his vertical coordinates, and that is right at 1/2 inch. So Mitch's PAP is 4 inches over and 1/2 inch up. Okay, so if we don't have access to an armadillo to find the bowler's PAP, we can always use a spinner to spin the ball and see what it is. So put the ball in the cup. We're going to take that oil ring that we trace, you can see it down here, and we're going to make sure that's equidistant above the ring of the cup. Okay, so I've pretty much placed it in there. It looks pretty good. So I'm going to turn the spinner on. Just take my pencil and just mark it on the top here until it makes me a nice circle. Okay? So now I can take my Prosect again, find my bowler's center of grip, measure over, find out what the PAP is, and that'll be my bowler's PAP. But I want to make sure that it's correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of tape on my bowler's axis, have them go out and throw it again and verify that that truly is their PAP. Okay, so we just got done showing you how to find a bowler's PAP, and we're showing this blue tactics that Mitch is throwing. So you can see on here, we found Mitch's PAP, it's 4 inches over and a ½ inch up. And then when we found out the layout of this ball, it's a 60 by 5 by 25. So Rob, why don't you tell us what that type of layout does for a blue tactics for Mitch?
Well, the blue tactics in general is more of a bench bark type motion, nice, smooth, controllable, motion out of the ball as a whole. What Mitch is trying to achieve here with this layout, by going to a 5-inch pin, he's looking for a little more length. Much taller pin, he's looking for a little more pop down lane. So normally, where if he would drill this probably more in his standard layout, something in the 4 3/4 range, not so tall pin, he's looking for that mid lane controllable motion. But in this, Mitch is trying to use this on more medium type of patterns, where he's trying to blend out the lane because he's got the smoothness of the ball, but now he's got a little length and a little forgiveness because the ball's going to have a little more on
just
the
a little more
back.
kick down lane. Okay, so perfect. So now why don't you show me, if a bowler had a different PAP, how would this layout look for them?
Yeah, I mean, this is really why a PAP is important to find. So as you can see, I've drawn on this Tactics Hybrid. This is the exact same layout as the Tactics, but this is for someone with a 6-inch over, no vertical on their PAP. So as you can see, the pin placement looks much different along with the mass bias on this person's ball.
Yeah, so this is a bowler that's 6-inch over, no vertical, 6 over straight across. And you can see the pin is much further right and the mass bias is much further right. So this ball is going to react much different than that the bowler's expecting. So if that bowler went and asked for this exact looking layout that Mitch has, this is how it should look with that PAP.
100%.
Yeah.
And as you can see, we've gone ahead and we've marked on this ball over here where the 6 inches would be
Right.
in relation to this pin placement. We measured it out right beforehand, and it's 6 3/4. So now this pin is 6 3/4 from this person's axis. You're going to get completely different ball motion as opposed to what you were looking for in the 60 by 5 by 25. When all of a sudden you're 60 by 6 3/4.
Yeah, so when you're looking for a new layout, it's kind of deceiving to look at another bowler's bowling ball and say, that's the ball I like, that's the layout I want. You really need to know what the actual layout is. What is the actual distance to the PAP? What's that mass bias angle and VA angle? And take it into your pro shop and get that exact layout put on your bowling ball.
And that's why it's very crucial for you and your pro shop operator to go out there and find your positive axis point. I call it's the bowler's DNA. Everyone's different. You throw it different than me. I throw it different than you. Our rev rates may be the same, but again, the way our ball rolls down the lane is different. So if I'm trying to get the same desired motion as, say, Mitch when he used this ball, I have to use this type of layout off of my PAP and not Mitch's.
Perfect. All right, so stay tuned for future episodes where we'll go more in depth in the layouts and we'll bring Rob back again as a guest to give you some different type of layout tips. Stay tuned to the next episode. We're actually going to bring Mitch Beasley back in, and he's going to give you a comparison video of the Tactics versus the Tactics Hybrid.